Hey, and welcome to my discussion board for week 6. I apologize for my voice in advance. It's kind of coming back, but still a little gone, as you can hear. I will be discussing 4 journal articles and then a new story that I chose at the end. Um, The first journal article is Early Neutral Evolution, which was a way to solve problems early without going to court. Um, a neutral expert looked at both sides and gave an opinion to help people settle and save time and also money. In the article that I chose by Bashamus, sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong, explains how early neutral evolution was used in Ohio in the with these following steps. Who could be the evaluator using real examples from real cases, um, and then also using the textbook and article agree that early neutral evolution helped people settle early and spend less on like legal fees, any other fees that can accrue during that time. The article did give more detail on real life stories about how ENE works when it's practiced, right? This is my citation. The next journal article was Mediation and Dispute Board, a systematic literature review. Um, some of the textbooks explain that mediation, when a neutral person comes to help people in conflict, um, talking and just finding a solution together. Dispute boards or groups that were set up, especially like during big projects, would help solve the problem before it did turn into bigger disputes or a bigger problem. Within the article that I chose by Diaz and colleagues, many studies that were reviewed about mediation and dispute boards showed how they would work in real life situations, especially when it came to like construction or talking about like new trends that came up, like the use of technology and handling disputes in different countries. And then when it came to like the textbook and the article, it agreed that the methods that were used to help people solve problems or issues without going to court, having um, a more neutral side was important. The article does go into sharing more details about like different countries, new challenges discussed, and suggesting ways to improve how these methods were used. In my third article that I chose, it was a journal article called The Mini Trial. The textbooks did explain that the mini trial was a way for people or companies to dispute and present their case in a short and informal hearing. Um, Usually, it would be like in front of top managers, and it would be for both sides and a neutral advisor, um, which I thought that was really cool. The neutral advisor part. Um, the goal is like it was to help everyone understand, or is to help everyone understand the main issues and encourage a quick settlement, which would save time, money, and going to court. Um, and the article does describe how the mini trial did work, especially when it came to the government or, again, construction disputes, and explains the steps that were involved, who takes a part, who benefits from it, and how much faster the decisions and better relationships um, came between parties. Um, Both the textbook and the article did agree that the mini trial does help people solve problems much faster, and it helps people be more cooperative. The article did give like more real life details, shows how the mini trial can be used different in again in different situations. Um, and then the following article that I used was the summary jury trial. Again, this is my citation. The textbook does explain how the summary jury trial is a way for people to present their case, being shortened mock trial in front of a real jury, but the jury's decision is only advisory, um, and not legally binding. This process helped see how a real jury might decide the case, but it doesn't guarantee, again, there's no legally binding, which can encourage both sides to settle before a full trial came to be. And then the article that was by Lambros and Sunk explained how the summary jury trial was created, how it worked in the courts. Um, I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. How it worked in the courts, and gave details about like procedures, benefits, challenges that it can come about. And then it was agreed, in both textbook and article that it helped everyone understand their chances in court and lead to faster settlements. And then it just, gave examples of how courts use the process, discuss practical tips, um, and just in general give a clearer picture of how it would work. A summary trial just works in real life, right? And then the news story that I chose was the Disney. It was like a dispute that was between Disney and Charter Communications. The source I used was from the New York Times. September of 2023, they were in a very locked in dispute that resulted in millions of customers losing access to like Disney owned channels, including like ESPN. Um, After like several days of public negotiation, financial losses, the companies did agree to use mediation to help resolve the disagreements over the carriage fees and like the streaming rights. Um, the mediation process allowed both parties to negotiate with the help of a like neutral third party. Um, and the reason this relates to the information in the book because it shows how mediation helped both parties settle conflicts outside of court, saving time and money, and just finding practical solutions. Um, what I did find the most interesting about this story is how the mediation was used not just for individuals, but for like very large corporations. As we know, like Disney is a huge corporation, and how quickly it was able to resolve um, a problem that had affected millions, which I'm sure that's what was putting pressure. Um, but that is it. Thank you so much for listening.